the 3-part song that closes Act 1. My earliest memory of that, I was thinking about trying to tie in Judas's motive and more of what Jesus had to say, as well as include Mary of Bethany. In John 12, the story talks about how Jesus being in Bethany, Mary comes in and anoints his feet and washes his feet. And Lazarus is there, and it's one of the final times he's in the company of his friends before the week of the Passion. I wanted to incorporate that story to kind of round it out a little bit, because we already had seen Martha with Wake Up Lazarus, and I really like how we focused the story a little bit differently, from the typical Jesus storyline as it's portrayed in the performing arts. There's usually the characters, Judas obviously, but we feature Barabbas a little bit more, and his relationship with Lazarus, Mary, and Martha, which I think is an interesting view. And I remember kind of telling Nick, I have an idea, of kind of trying to, I don't want to write 3 songs, but we need to set up Judas as having an ulterior motive. We need to establish Jesus and the servanthood aspect of the kingdom of God.
The idea for the suite that wasn't really the idea initially. We had all these ideas. We had all these different loose ends that we were trying to tie together, and it was kind of like we had to somehow talk about the scene in Bethany where the woman anoints Jesus' feet. We also had to talk about Jesus washing the disciples' feet and the importance of that, and announcing that his time was coming to an end on the earth.
Because with We Are Not Far From the Kingdom, that song kind of shows that everybody was excited for Jesus to take the throne right now and to be the Messiah that they envisioned, not necessarily the Messiah that they needed. And I wanted to further drive that point home in Jesus' words, when he's washing the feet of the disciples at the Last Supper, and just say, the kingdom of God is not what you expect it to be. It's something different. It's when the last is first, and the first is last. Where if you want to be exalted, you're going to be the servant of all. And I just kind of said that to Nick, and I kind of foolishly attempted to write something. I came up with a couple lyrics for the Mary portion.
But it was very difficult we didn't really want to write more songs. It was getting too much. So I came up with an idea to combine the songs.
I mentioned it to Nick, and within a day, he's like, "Oh yeah, I have that song, by the way." And one night, he emailed me an MP3 of it, and I just listened and was shocked that there were 3 songs together.
And Nick played the demo for me, and it had 3 different parts. I didn't really know how it was going to work, because I really just couldn't hear it. I could hear the first part, the Judas part. I couldn't really hear or feel where it was going to go with Mary singing while anointing the Lord's feet, and the Jesus part at the end. I didn't really know. I didn't really get it.
If you try to ask me how I came up with the song, I don't remember. I can't honestly tell you, because I was half asleep when I did it. So I just remember there was a little drum machine, and then I recorded some ideas, and it was accidental, totally accidental, and I think it was from the Lord, because I don't know how it came about, because I don't, some of it doesn't really make sense to me now. So, but I think it works good, and it tells the story very quickly.
That song was really fun. There was 80-something recorded tracks. It was fun, I say in quotes, to mix and master, but it's amazing to me how it came together, and we just really nail it home. Some of the elements from that song are things we've never done before. Especially that's the first time you really hear that choir sounding vocal.
We didn't really know who we were going to get to sing the role of Mary at the time. We threw some ideas out, and I had reached out to Kimberly Dunbar and asked her if she would be interested. She was very, very interested, and we brought her in.
The performance is very vulnerable and really sets the mood really well. And then that's where we see Judas for the first time, and I think Nick nailed it. The character from that point on, and Luke and I really pushed him vocally, and he'll attest to that we wanted him to go a little bit further than maybe he had in the past, and stretch himself a little bit and sing things maybe a little bit outside of his comfort zone. And I think you hear that on this rock opera, and it's his finest performances, in my opinion, especially that song. And it's a proud moment for me to listen to that song, how it came together, the 6.5 minutes of it, and it all somehow is coherent and makes sense. And I just, between Nick coming up with the initial ideas and God giving me the tools to bring it about to completion, it's a proud moment on the album.
The song ended up being exactly, I think, what we wanted it to be. It was an epic end to Act 1, a big end to the first act.